By 2030, in just 8 years' time, Africans will make up 42% of the world's young people. So their young people need to be listened to.
The survey showed that a growing number of young people are planning to immigrate in the next 3 years, with South Africa seen as the most appealing destination within Africa.
More than half had to pause their education or lost their job as a result of the coronavirus pandemic.
Young people in Africa are more determined than ever to make the continent a better place. That's the finding of the 2022 African Youth Survey conducted by the Ichikowitz Foundation.
The African Youth Survey is the most comprehensive survey of Africa's youth to date. It is designed to provide a better understanding of the hopes, challenges and aspirations of Africa's youth. First conducted in 2019, the survey has now covered 19 countries across sub-Saharan Africa, gauging the views of nearly 9,000 young people through in-depth face-to-face interviews. There are 4 main issues having the biggest impact on the continent over the past 5 years: COVID-19 together with political instability, the digital revolution and endangered democracy. Hope about Africa's future persists despite an 11% dip in Afro optimism since 2020. Only 27% feel confident about the future of their country and 31% about the future of Africa. Nonetheless, young Africans today remain optimistic about their personal futures. High levels of entrepreneurship remain, while 86% of youth are concerned about availability of well-paying jobs. An astounding 78% plan to start their own small business in the next 5 years. The effects of climate change remains high on the agenda. 72% are concerned about climate change, revealing increased concern since 2019. An overwhelming majority is demanding stronger government action on green energy and carbon emissions. Young people demonstrate their Afro capability as they are once again taking their own steps to address climate change in their communities. Of all the foreign actors on the continent, China has the biggest impact, overtaking the United States as the country with the most positive influence on the continent. There is agreement about the positive influence of foreign nations, but youth are concerned about the foreign ownership of natural resources. African youth believe more than ever in democracy. Democracy is always the preferable kind of government. 74% agree. But 53% believe Africa must develop its own system of democracy. African youth value the rule of law, freedom of speech, and free and fair elections as the most important democratic values.
Policymakers, not just in Africa, but all over the world, need to listen to their voices. They need to understand how to invest in the continent, how to engage with the continent, in order to harness the power that this generation represents.
I think, the results that we found in this survey will help in terms of having that open and honest view and reflection in terms of, the issues that young people are faced with.
Young people know what they want. If the state cannot help them, they will do it alone. They are self-confident, driven, and crafters of their own destiny.
Was your overwhelming feeling one of optimism?
This is a generation that believes they can stand toe-to-toe with anybody else in the world and that they can take their place in a global reality. And for that reason, I remain hugely optimistic.